Hey everybody, Ron Carruthers here. I am your main man for everything related to personal finance, taxes, retirement, college, all of it. And here we go on another Facebook Live, the day after May 29th. And for those of you that are asking, because I have gotten asked, Star did get her summer haircut. She's officially the least manly dog ever. Look at that scary lion haircut. Oh, all right. Let me tell you what we're chatting about today. You're done, Star. I want to show you guys a 529 success story. So if you remember, we chatted yesterday because it was 529 day. Now she says hi. It was 529 day about 5 reasons why you may not want to have one. I want to show you how this works in the real world. So, but don't forget, by the way, we got quoted in Forbes today. Check this out. You guys need to see this. Click to unmute. You shared your screen. No. Nope. Show. There we go. Look at this right here. Forbes. There's Forbes. And look at that. There's my name, Ron Carruthers, author of What Your Guidance Counselor Isn't Telling You. And by the way, if you haven't picked that up, hold on. Yep, it's there. It's right there. So we'll put that down, but there's the Forbes thing. If you guys haven't picked it up, go check it out, ronscollegebook.com. We got lots of goodies in there and all kinds of stuff for you if your kid's in college, out of college. But let's chat about 529 plans, shall we? I'm going to go ahead and pull this screen down. I'm trying to figure out how to do this without showing all the controls here, but we'll figure it out one of these days. So let me give an example of how this works in the real world of when you might want to get rid of your 529. So first of all, there's 3 things we have to look at. Number 1 is, are you otherwise eligible for financial aid? That's the first question. So you don't want to go get rid of one if you have it just because I said so. God help you, you should not be taking advice from TV doctors, Facebook financial advisors. Now, personally, you want to come and chat, you can reach out to me anytime and we'll see if we can help out. But as far as from this broadcast, you want to make sure you check out to make sure how the rules apply to you. So number 1 is you want to make sure you're otherwise eligible for financial aid. If you are, then we get to point number 2, which is, do the schools have money to give you? And then that leads us to point number 3, which is, how badly will you get hit on taxes if we make this move? So let me show you one time when this worked out. In fact, I'm going to bring my screen up here. We're going to show that screen. Yep, that looks good. Sorry for the mirror effect there. But this is a case where it worked right. So you can see there, this is a family that went to George Washington University. It's from 4 years ago. And look at those grants and scholarships down there. $17,300 of free money a year. Now, I want to explain to you what it took for us to get there. First of all, this was a guy, the dad, Robert's dad, makes good money. 6 figures, and not just a little bit into 6 figures, a lot into 6 figures. And he has rental property, he has other money. So when we went through his planning process, we went through and we're looking at his expected family contribution. And by the way, if you don't know any of those terms, we have a great free class if you buy the book that you get access to that explains all of these financial rules. So anyway, we went through and got his expected family contribution down to $45,000. Now that may sound like holy cow, but remember, if you take a look right here, he was looking at a $66,000 a year school. At the same time, that's point number 2. The kid's top 2 schools were Northeastern and George Washington. So had the same kid wanted to go to San Francisco State or San Diego State or UCLA with a $45,000 EFC and a school costing $25 to $35, there's no point in moving a 529. But here's the problem. We got his expected family contribution down to about $45,000. But That was before factoring in about $80,000 in a 529 plan that he had set up for his kid. So his dad, Robert's dad, and I are chatting about it, and he was going to pay about $6,000-7,000 in taxes if we got rid of this. So here's what I sat down and explained to him. Remember, that's the third point. So what was point number one? You want to make sure your EFC is low enough without the 529 that it matters, one. Two is you want to make sure the schools actually are likely to give him money. Three is you want to know what the tax consequences are. How badly are we going to get bitten if we move this money? So here was my conversation with Robert Stat. I'm like, look, number one, I'm really good at my job. I've done this a long time. And your top two schools are Northeastern and George Washington, where I have a really good feeling that they're going to give you money, at least one of them will, if we get rid of this 529 money. But if we don't, here's our problem. The school's going to take your $45,000 expected family contribution, and they're going to subtract it from this $66,000 that you see right here. We're going to zoom in on that. Yeah, whoa, I guess we zoomed in a little too much, and we just flashed his name everywhere. That wasn't good. All right, you guys saw that. We'll go ahead and put that down. Anyway, we will, if you were eagle-eyed, you caught that, but I did not realize that was going to happen when we moved it. So basically that $66,000 was if they took the $80,000 in the 529 plan and turned around and took the $45,000, added the $20,000 to it because of the $80,000 divided by 4. Sorry about that, guys. That totally flustered me. I was not expecting that. Anyway, so if they turned around and added the 20, 1/4 of the 529, like I was chatting about in yesterday's Facebook Live, which you can go back and see, it's archived on my page, then the problem was now he's eligible for nothing. So my advice to him was this: look, I can't promise you anything, but I feel really good that if we move this money, one of the schools will give you enough money to make it worthwhile. Secondly, if we got rid of this right now, you're only paying about $6,000 in tax and penalty and all that stuff. Remember, we were sitting in 2015, right before we filed this paperwork. At that point, the market had gone up for almost 6 years since it bottomed out in 2009. So I'm like, maybe it pulls back, maybe it doesn't. It didn't. Narrator's voice. But we didn't know that back then. So I'm like, if it loses even 10%, we've lost 8,000. So by getting rid of this, paying this tax on the 6,000 now, I feel really good that you're going to get something. And I feel even more strongly that if we don't move it, you will get nothing. So he kind of thought it over and was like, all right, let's do it. Now, we set it up into an account that was exempt for the financial aid formula, so we didn't have to report it at all legitimately. It was safe. It was no longer in the market. Remember my 5 things that can go wrong with a 529. We were only months away from this kid going to college, so had the market turned around and dropped again, we would have been in real trouble. And Northeastern would not budge giving us any money. No, 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 no. They wouldn't give us anything. We begged and pleaded and cajoled and threatened, but it didn't matter to them. But George Washington, as you saw a minute ago, gave us $17,300 a year. Let me let that sink in. $17,300 of free money a year. If you multiply that by 4, that is more than $66,000. In other words, by moving this money and paying a little bit in tax, we got 1 free year of college. over the 4 years. So this stuff works. So remember, you don't want to go out and get rid of a 529 unless it sucks and you're losing money on it. But you want to at least take a look at number one, where is your expected family contribution? Number two, does the school or schools that your student is most likely to go to have financial aid, any history of being generous? And number three is, how bad are you going to get hit on taxes? And what can be done to mitigate that? By the way, we pulled one last minute tweak that dropped his taxes by another $2,000. So he only had to pay about $4,000 in taxes on that. And he got the $17,300 a year. So that's your lesson for today. So it does work out when you know what you're doing. And so you want to pay attention to this. You want to buy my book. If you don't have a copy of my book, it's going to walk you through the basics of getting in and give you a really good lesson on how the terms work and how to get your share as low as possible. If you're ready to move beyond the book and you want to chat with someone, 760-607-7021. And you can set up a time with us, or just hit us up in the messages, or write a note in the Facebooks there. Hit us, give us some love. And please feel free to share this with your friends. Make sure they know what's up. 529s aren't evil, but everybody only tells you one side of the story, which is, oh, they're great. Well, not always. So we'll be back with another one of these tomorrow. And if you haven't bought my book, did I mention I have a book and I got mentioned in Forbes? You need to check it out. So RonsCollegeBook.com, go check that sucker out. And we'll do this again and very soon. And perfect. I'm getting a call that I've been expecting. We'll wind this down and I'm out. See you guys soon. Take care. This is winding down and I'm walking.